Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about Consider the Lobster by David Foster Wallace. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. Alright, Consider the Lobster by David Foster Wallace. Very interesting work here. It's all about eating lobsters. Now, the method that people prepare lobsters in the kitchen is to boil them alive. Now, this all goes back to a festival that the author of this work attends, and they're boiling lobsters. I mean, lobsters are creatures, when you boil them, they look like they're in pain, all right? They're trying to, attack the rim of the pot. They're thrashing around. Um, I mean, imagine a person being boiled alive. It's similar things you would think a human would do if they were being boiled alive. The lobsters are, when you look at them, it's uncomfortable. I mean, at this festival, there's this huge pot, this huge lobster thing that lobsters are dying in, and it's not pretty to see all these lobsters like not trying to die. And so this work is about the ethics of killing lobsters or boiling them alive. Now, humans, we love to eat meat, and whether it is pork, cow, whatever animal you're eating, I mean, you have to kill it. You have to drain out the blood, and it's not pretty. If you ever hear animals cry when they're being, or when their throats are being sliced, it's not fun. It's not pretty sound. I mean, it sounds very sad and very. Um, it's it's just dark. It's just when you're slicing into an animal's throat and it's crying. And you kind of understand why some people are vegetarians or vegans, or they don't want to eat animals because they don't want to see something die like that. But most humans, we love to eat meat. We love our bacon, our beef, our steaks. We love our barbecues, and we're not going to give up hamburgers. And that's one of the things that appears within this work. It's like, are you gonna stop eating meat? Are you gonna stop eating lobsters? I mean, they taste wonderful. I mean, Red Lobster would not be Red Lobster without the lobster. I mean, come on. So this work here brings up very interesting questions about killing lobsters, and there's different arguments that appears within this work about, well, is it ethical? I mean, do they feel pain, do they not feel pain? And there's scientific arguments to talk about the biology of the lobster, to say, well, it doesn't feel the pain that humans feel, or it doesn't, the way that we're thinking about pain and trauma, it's not the same way that the lobster feels pain. But I mean, it's still thrashing and having all these, they don't look happy being boiled alive. I mean, they're not, this is not something that they want. They're not like, here I am, boil me. So this work talks about a lot of things, how cheap lobsters are to kill them, to eat them, how prisons used to serve lobsters before they became, you know culturally, or in our society, before they became a delicacy. So really, morally here, we're talking about different groups that advocate for lobsters, that we shouldn't boil lobsters alive, and different ways that people try to come over this by killing the lobsters before they boil them alive. But most people, it's the common belief that the way that you cook a lobster is that you boil some water and you put the lobster in boiled water. And some people just leave the kitchen so you don't hear all the thrashing and the dying part, because it's not pretty. So this work just brings this to life. And is it ethical? Is it ethical to kill an animal like this? Is it animal cruelty? I mean, it's very selective. I mean, human beings, we have some animals that we have as pets. We have some animals that we eat. And depending on where you are on the planet, some animals are okay to be eaten and some animals are not. It depends where you are, the culture you are, and the level of poverty, or how rich a country is, or what society, like, in India, cows are sacred. Yeah, right? In India, cows are sacred. But in America, cows are delicious. I mean, go figure. I mean, this is eating animals is something that culturally they mean different things, and it's a big argument as to why is this animal sacred in one place and delicious in the other place. I mean, um, it really brings about an argument of, well, should we do this? Why do we do this? And is it okay? It brings about morals and ethics, but most humans, when you're eating, you try to forget about the ethics. I mean, when people go to the Red Lobster, they're not thinking about the thrashing and the ethics about eating a lobster. They're just eating. So again, I mean, depending where you are, what religion you adhere to, depending on what you believe in, the ethics make you know the ethics go different ways. I mean, it's like different cultures will pick different types of ethics depending on what they believe and what they feel about a certain animal. So, again, I mean, it's the same argument with all types of animals. Some cultures, some religions, you can eat pork, and some you can't. And some places you can eat beef, and other places you can't. And the morals and ethics, and that all comes into the argument. And well, it comes down to each person's belief. But I do have to say, the boiling of the lobster here, it is pretty cruel because most people have to boil it alive. So, in terms of deeper meaning and analysis here, this is a discussion of, do you boil the lobster or do you not? Do you watch it die and watch it be torn? Because I think that's the biggest problem here when it comes to this work is like, should we watch our food die while we're preparing it? I think that's the most dastardly part here. It's because other animals, you're not the butcher, right? You go to a supermarket, you pick up your chicken, you pick up your beef, you pick out your bacon, and it's not crying. It's not, thrashing. It's beautifully packaged in your plastic, and it's beautifully presented in your supermarket. The blood's gone. It's just meat, right? I mean, it looks delicious, and I mean, when you go to a restaurant, it's just food. I mean, you don't see the animal, you just see, nice grilled fried chicken or a nice steak with potatoes. It's like this just looks delicious to me. This is not an animal that's, facing cruelty or trauma. It just delicious. But when you're at the butcher house, when you're at the slaughterhouse, when you're in the kitchen and the lobster is thrashing, it brings about different emotions. So, is this more about should we not watch the animal die? Is that it? Or is it a bigger moral question? So, this work here brings about a lot of questions about ethics, what is okay and what is not okay when it comes to killing animals, and specifically, of course, lobsters. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.